Today we are counting down 10 of the most insane machines ever built by human hands. Machines so enormous, so powerful, so mind-bending that experts genuinely believe they could never exist. Stay until number 1, because it will completely change how you think about what humans are capable of. Number 10. The Belaz 75710, the dump truck that carries 500,000 kilograms. We start with something that looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. The Belaz 75710 is the world's largest dump truck, and when you see it next to a regular vehicle, your brain simply refuses to accept what your eyes are seeing. This beast was built in Belarus and can carry an almost unbelievable 450 tons of material in a single load. That is heavier than 300 family cars stacked on top of each other. Its tires alone stand over 4 meters tall, taller than most ceilings in your home. It runs on 2 massive 16-cylinder diesel engines that together produce nearly 9,000 horsepower. Engineers originally said a vehicle this large could never move efficiently. The Belaz proved them completely wrong. Number 9. Bertha, the tunnel-boring and underground monster that ate through an entire city. Beneath the streets of Seattle, Washington, a machine so enormous was quietly at work that most people walking above it had no idea it even existed. Her name was Bertha, and she was the largest tunnel-boring machine ever built at the time of her launch. Bertha was 300 feet long, 5 stories tall, and weighed a staggering 7,000 tons. Her drill head alone was 57 feet wide enough to fit a 4-lane highway inside the tunnel she was carving. Engineers said that building a machine this large that could actually function underground was next to impossible. Yet Bertha bored through the earth beneath one of America's major cities, creating a highway tunnel that now carries thousands of vehicles every single day. Number 8. NASA's Crawler T-Thought, the machine built to carry rockets to the stars. When NASA needed to move a Saturn V rocket, the most powerful rocket ever built, from the assembly building to the launch pad, they had a problem. Nothing in the world was powerful enough to carry it. So they built something that had never existed before. The NASA Crawler Transporter is 40 meters long, 35 meters wide, and weighs 2,720 tons. It moves at a top speed of just 1 mile per hour, but it carries payloads that weigh millions of pounds. The engineering challenge of building a vehicle that could carry a rocket while keeping it perfectly level was considered impossible. NASA built 2 of them anyway. One of those crawlers has now traveled over 2,200 miles, all of it at walking speed, all of it carrying humanity's greatest ambitions toward the sky. Number 7. The Seawise Jenny, the ship so big it could not fit through the English Channel. At its peak, this ship was so large that it was physically impossible for it to pass through the English Channel or the Suez Canal, 2 of the world's most important shipping routes. The Seawise Giant was the longest ship ever built by human beings, stretching an almost absurd 458 meters from bow to stern. That is longer than 4 football fields lined up end to end. Naval engineers in the 1970s said that building a functional ship at this scale was beyond the limits of practical engineering. The Seawise Giant proved otherwise. It carried over 560,000 tons of cargo and held the record for the greatest deadweight tonnage ever recorded. Even today, nothing quite like it has ever been built again. Number 6. The Bagger 288, the land monster that eats mountains for breakfast. Imagine a machine so large that it has its own kitchen and bathroom built inside it. A machine that is taller than a 30-story building and longer than 2 football fields. A machine that took 5 years just to design and another 5 years to assemble. That machine is the Bagger 288. Built in Germany in 1978, the Bagger 288 was at the time the heaviest land vehicle ever constructed, weighing 13,500 tons. Its spinning bucket wheel, over 21 meters in diameter, can excavate 240,000 tons of earth every single day. That is enough to fill 96 Olympic swimming pools with dirt. When engineers proposed its design, many called it structurally impossible. When it needed to move to a new work site 22 kilometers away, it took 3 full weeks to walk there, crossing highways, rivers, and railways along the way. Number 5. The 3 gorges in the wall of water that changed the Earth's rotation. This one is so powerful that NASA scientists have calculated it actually changed the speed of Earth's rotation, very slightly, but measurably. The Three Gorges Dam in China is the largest hydroelectric power station ever built, and its construction was one of the most controversial and ambitious engineering projects in human history. The dam stretches 2,335 meters across the Yangtze River and stands 185 meters tall. The reservoir behind it holds so much water that the sheer weight of it shifted the Earth's mass distribution. Engineers said building a dam at this scale while managing the flow of one of the world's most powerful rivers was impossibly dangerous. China built it anyway. Today it generates more electricity than any other power station on the planet. Number 4. The is the biggest airplane ever built, with 6 engines and 2 cockpits. When Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen announced he was building the world's largest aircraft, aerospace engineers were skeptical. What he was proposing had simply never been done before. A plane with a wingspan wider than a football field powered by 6 massive jet engines, designed to carry rockets into the upper atmosphere and launch them into space. The Stratolaunch has a wingspan of 117 meters, the widest of any aircraft ever flown. It has 2 fuselages, 2 cockpits, 28 wheels, and sits so high off the ground that vehicles can drive underneath it. Critics said the structural engineering required was beyond what materials science could deliver. The Stratolaunch completed its first successful test flight in 2019 and continues to fly today, representing one of the most extraordinary machines ever assembled in a hangar. Number 3. The Saturn V are the most powerful machine ever launched from Earth. In the 1960s, sending a human being to the moon was considered by many serious scientists to be an absolute fantasy. The engineering challenges were so overwhelming, the heat, the vacuum of space, the precision required, that many believed no machine could ever make it possible. And then America built the Saturn V. The Saturn V remains to this day the most powerful rocket ever successfully launched. It stood 111 meters tall, as high as a 36-story building, and generated 34.5 million newtons of thrust at liftoff. It was so loud during launch that the sound waves alone could melt concrete nearby. It flew 13 missions without a single loss of crew. And it carried 12 human beings all the way to the surface of the moon and brought every single one of them home safely. Nothing built since has ever matched its raw power. Number 2. The International Space Station, the machine that was built while floating in outer space. Building something in space sounds like science fiction. Building something the size of a football field in space, piece by piece over 13 years by astronauts in spacesuits, sounds completely insane. And yet that is exactly what the International Space Station is. The ISS is the largest structure ever assembled in space. It orbits Earth at 28,000 kilometers per hour, completing a full orbit every 90 minutes. It has been continuously inhabited by human beings since the year 2000. Engineers from 15 different countries had to work together to design components that would be launched separately on rockets and assembled by astronauts doing spacewalks in the vacuum of space. Every expert involved admitted that the margin for catastrophic failure was enormous. Today it remains the greatest collaborative engineering achievement in human history. Number 1. The Large Hadron Collider, the machine that was built to unlock the secrets of the universe. And we arrive at number 1. The machine that physicists dreamed about for decades but many believed could never actually be built. A machine that does not dig coal or carry rockets or generate electricity, but instead smashes invisible particles together at nearly the speed of light to unlock the deepest secrets of the universe itself. The Large Hadron Collider is, without question, the most complex machine ever built by human beings. It sits 175 meters underground near Geneva, Switzerland, in a circular tunnel that stretches 27 kilometers in circumference. Inside that tunnel, 2 beams of protons travel in opposite directions at 99.9999991% of the speed of light before colliding in a flash of energy that recreates conditions from fractions of a second after the Big Bang. Building it required over 10,000 scientists and engineers from more than 100 countries. The superconducting magnets that guide the particle beams must be kept colder than outer space. The detectors that capture the collisions are the size of cathedrals. When the project was first proposed, many physicists argued it was simply beyond the limits of what engineering could achieve. The LHC was switched on in 2008. In 2012, it discovered the Higgs boson, a particle that explains why matter in the universe has mass. A discovery that changed physics forever. 10 machines. 10 times the world said it cannot be done. 10 times human beings proved that impossible is just a word that has not met the right engineer yet. From a dump truck that carries 500,000 kilograms, to a tunnel-boring monster beneath a city, to a collider that recreates the beginning of time, every single one of these machines started as a crazy idea in someone's head. And every single one of them became real. Which machine blew your mind the most? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I read every single one. If this video amazed you, share it with one person who loves engineering and science. Hit like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.